2022 was the 60th anniversary of two of Marvel's most prolific and powerful heroes, the Incredible Hulk and the Mighty Thor. So, to celebrate the lengthy lifespan of these heroic powerhouses, Marvel had writer Donny Cates and artist Martin Kokolo put together a crossover to purportedly settle the argument of which character is the strongest. This crossover is called Hulk vs. Thor: Banner of War, spread across 5 different issues, including 2 issues of the ongoing Hulk and Thor series, both written normally by Donny Cates. What this does mean is that the crossover is mired in active continuity, which can be a little confusing for people expecting a standard showdown. But does the crossover actually properly settle the score of who's the strongest one there is? And, more importantly, is the comic any good? The crossover's inaugural issue is a one-shot called Hulk vs. Thor: Banner of War Alpha. This issue opens with a recap by the Watcher explaining the relevant continuity of Hulk and Thor with 2 very well done splash pages. In short, Thor has finally succeeded his father Odin as king of Asgard after Odin's death. However, Odin's spirit has inhabited Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. Hulk, meanwhile, has been trapped inside his own mind by his human alter ego, Bruce Banner, who has also converted Hulk's body into a spaceship so he can leave Earth after he seemingly killed a bunch of people in El Paso, Texas. In order to escape, though, he beat up Iron Man and stole his teleporter, so Iron Man is not happy. Hulk's escape is short-lived as he is attacked by Thor on behalf of the people of El Paso. They initially crashed on an inhabited planet, so Thor has Sif teleport himself and Hulk to a combat ring where they can fight safely. There is a nice parallel where Thor and Hulk both talk to a voice whispering in their ear, with Thor talking to Odin and Hulk talking to a manifestation of his ex-wife. Aside from that though, this first issue is pretty much an all-out smackdown brawl. Highlights include Hulk standing up through Mjolnir and Thor blasting the entire arena with a massive lightning bolt. The issue ends, though, with Thor deciding that something is wrong with Banner, so he sends in Odin's spirit to talk to Banner's mind. The battle continues into the 25th issue of Cates' Thor run, but is primarily the reveal of what happened in El Paso. This means that this big plot point from the Hulk series is revealed in a Thor comic. Oh well. The truth of El Paso is that some random people started holding out and trying to kill Bruce. Then Bruce got possessed by some demon or something and murdered them all. So Bruce is not okay, but this is a plot for the Hulk series. Then Iron Man shows up in a giant celestial to murder Banner. This is admittedly a very cool image, but this is a Hulk vs. Thor comic, damn it! Also, this is Thor issue 25. There are a pair of random Thor stories at the end of the issue that have nothing to do with the crossover. This makes it really awkward if you're just here for Thor vs. Hulk. Iron Man strikes in Cates' Hulk issue 7, but even his Celestial doesn't have enough power to kill Hulk. Knowing what's going on in Hulk's mind, Thor tells Iron Man to stay out of the fight, but by this point, it's too late. The very angry Hulk has taken control of his body from Banner and demolishes the Iron Celestial before exploding into a massive burst of gamma. Instead of killing anyone, though, it instead Hulkifies Thor, making him give in to his rage as well. Over in Thor 26, Thor Hulk, or is it Hulk Thor, starts destroying everything. Sif teleports Iron Man to Asgard, then tries to teleport Thor so the Asgardian army can fight him, but he just breaks Asgard's teleportation system? Just straight up resists it so hard it shatters. Hulk tries to stop Thor, but he's not nearly strong enough, so he requests a favor from Odin, whose spirit is still talking to Banner. Odin agrees, and Hulk grabs Mjolnir, transforming into Hulk Thor, or is it Thor Hulk? The final issue of the crossover is in Hulk number 8, which reiterates the question of who would win in a fight to the death, Hulk or Thor. Instead of fighting to the death, though, Hulk uses Mjolnir to open a portal to Asgard so he can slam Thor into the World Tree, and strip Thor of the gamma that is causing him to Hulk out. This doesn't work, though, so Odin is able to talk Thor down by telling him how proud he is of him. He then tasks Thor with Mjolnir, releasing all of the gamma from Thor in a big explosion. Using this explosion, Thor is able to fake Hulk's death by pretending that he died in the explosion, letting him escape from Iron Man scot-free. And that's the end of the crossover, with small teases of what's to come for Hulk and Thor. The crossover is actually pretty good quality-wise. While the story is very thin, it's essentially a 5-issue long fight scene, there are enough twists and turns to keep you on your toes as you try to figure out who the victor will be. Iron Man's involvement I'm a bit more iffy on, but he's just there to give an excuse for the fight to get worse once Thor figures out that he and Hulk shouldn't be fighting. The art is also really solid, with a bunch of very impactful splash pages, even if the story relies on them a bit too much. Seriously, Part 3 ends with a huge explosion and then a reveal of a character transformed, then Part 4 ends with the reveal of a character transformed and then a huge explosion. But does the crossover actually answer the question of who's the strongest? The answer is... kinda? The comic seems to imply through its narration and action that Thor is stronger, especially once Thor gets Hulkified, but since the fight ends with Odin talking Thor down instead of one of the combatants being knocked out or killed, it's hard to tell who would win definitively if the fight kept going. Plus, there's also that subject of Thor's Hulkification, as well as Hulk wielding Mjolnir. While these things fit within the then current continuity, they aren't things that can normally happen. Hulk is possessed by something that hulks others out, and Mjolnir is kind of broken after Odin's magic on it fell apart. So while you could argue that these are abilities Hulk and Thor technically have, and thus should be taken into account when discussing a battle to the death, they kind of feel like they violate the spirit of the characters, since the standard versions of these guys don't have these abilities. It makes for a weird wibbly-wobbly situation that leaves me feeling like the comic didn't actually answer its central premise of who to win in a fight, although it probably wants you to think that Thor would. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.